What you doing there, Lewis? I imagine it's got to be a little spooky for some of you nicer folk that follow me when you see me get into my more intense moods. And I wanted to say I'm sorry about that. It seems like that's the way I am. Thought about it as I was watching one of Hugo Hamlet's videos, and you know, I don't really know the fella, but it's such a bright fellow. And it made me think about some of the really sweet and loving stories that I put together. And it made me think about how I get with some of these other folks. I know people might look at what I do and think I'm just doing the normal human thing, getting upset and riled up and pissed off, as they call it. But that's not how it is for me. It might look terrible. It might look like it's terrible for me when I get in these intense attitudes, but I'm still having a great time because I know what I'm actually striving for is to snap somebody awake. Because I'll see people spreading garbage, and I can feel what it does to other people. And I know I have to try, at least, to try to wake them up to what they're doing. It's not something I just sit and think about, not usually. Sometimes I'll try a couple of things, and if I notice I am sitting there continuing to think about it, I relinquish it and I let it go. Because I won't let it stir me up like that. All of these expressions I share with people are on the spot. I just know I don't want the intense things I say to some people I don't want those things to harm the nice folks that watch me. Because you all got your own worlds you live in. And I do dip my toes in other people's worlds. But I wouldn't do that if I didn't see them sharing their worlds so publicly without regard for what it can do to somebody. And so it's been tricky for me. I've startled a lot of people. A lot more than just my follower account, I'll tell you that. A lot more. I've startled people so bad they won't ever talk about me again. For some of them, that's probably for the best. It's been tricky for me doing all this stuff online. It's not the same in person. Most people can't bear to be around me in person for more than a couple of minutes. But when I go out in public, I make sure to be nice and easy, because you can really feel me in public. You can feel me coming around the corner. It seems when I say something to people online whom I see saying things publicly that I know is affecting people not in a not so good way, it seems I've had to say things really sharply, because I don't have the person right there in front of me, so all I have is the feeling that they give me from their posts. And so I know there's not anything inherently wrong with my expressions toward what they say. It's expressing how what they said makes me feel. And I know if what they said's a little bit, I know if I show them just how much I feel it, that maybe they will see what it could be doing to other people who don't get intense the way I do. That's what I hope. I don't purposely set out to freak people out, ever. Not anymore. I used to. Maybe. There are some times in public I'll run across somebody. I feel a tickle of something about them that I know they're a bit of a mean person, but they always play polite. But I don't play. I mean it. And then after the interaction, I'm like, yeah, there was something about them. They have a mean streak. It makes me really happy when I know I got through that conversation without being fierce. Because I know a lot of these mean folks, they are that way because somebody was fierce with them. So it's different in public, because I can feel their presence. What feels like 100,000 times more intensely than I do looking at people online. But I can feel things from what people say online. It's just not quite the same. It's been really tricky because I don't get much feedback from people. And I don't know how many of y'all watching me in this video. I don't know if y'all have seen how I get sometimes. But as far as I can tell, it ain't normal. Because I know I've never seen anybody get the way that I do. There's a lot more I could say, but I think it would just confuse the rest of this video. There's some people that only walk in the light, and they take care of their own shadow. They pay attention to it and they work on themselves. Scrub their shadow clean and gratefully accept the cookies, as Kaze says. And they stay in the light. There are some people that only walk in the dark. And some of them, that's just the way they are. And I won't say anything to them. Then there are some that can walk in the light, but somebody beckoned them over into the dark a little bit. There's a lot to it. There is a lot to it. There are some of them that walk around in the edge of the dark, that don't really belong there. And so I do go for a stroll in the dark, and I reach out my hand to see if they'll take it, pull them out of there. I've done it countless times. The ones who don't know anything about that would hear what I just said, and they would think it sounds nuts. And if that's the case, good, because they don't want my job. But I do. It is one of the most beautiful things in the world. When I reach out my hand to somebody that's in the dark and they take it, and I pull them out of there, it took a lot of suffering for me to learn that some people just stay there. It's almost like it's their own little heaven. There are a lot of Christian folk, at least that's what some of them call themselves, that will push people into the dark. And they will continue pushing others deeper and deeper. Some of them are actually made for that. But some of them, they see the ones that are made for that, and they think that's what they're supposed to do. But not everybody is as, let's say, studious. A lot of folks seem to be lost in the humdrum, hippity bippity, running around the hustle bustle. And so they don't take the time to talk to their loved ones or their friends and be like, hey, yeah, this is what I do, but you probably shouldn't be touching it. Because a lot of people, they don't take the time to appreciate what they have. And appreciation and gratitude is the king and queen. Appreciation and gratitude is the king and queen. And you don't get much higher than that. A lot of folks are always looking for the next golden goodie. Oh, I gotta get this thing. I gotta work towards this. I gotta get this. I gotta get this. But then when they get it, they're like, what do I do with it? I don't even want it anymore. So they keep looking. Do you know why it's important to practice gratitude? To practice gratitude. Just like anything else, important to practice gratitude. Because if you don't, you might not get that thing you want, but it wouldn't matter if you did. You'd still be looking for the next golden goodie because you didn't know what to do with the last one you had. So yeah, I've been doing what I do for a very, very long time, since before I knew what I was doing. And that time was worse than tricky. But back then, I was hiding who I was. I was hiding who I am. Because every time I would show a little peep of it, everybody would say, hey, you ain't supposed to be doing that. You're being wrong. But they had the context wrong. They saw something they didn't want to see. But it wasn't for them. And so, any one of you that might be watching this, I want you to remember, it is your choice if you choose to watch my videos. And you have to take that choice responsibly. Because if you allow my intense videos to affect you, then you were the one that allowed that because you chose to watch. And in the meantime, I will do my best to, when I do any of this intense stuff, I will do my best to warn everybody at the beginning of each of the videos, if it is intense, or any of the audios or videos I post on Threads or TikTok. But after I started seeing what I was doing, the way that I naturally am, that's when all of the feedback stopped. And nobody would tell me what I was doing. But back then, I had no idea who I was because I was hiding who I was. So I couldn't see me. And that's why I started making videos like this. Because I couldn't talk to nobody about it. They didn't understand. All they have known is what they see from everybody else. But I have never seen somebody do what I do. The closest I've ever seen anybody do to what I do is Dade Murphy. And he is a whole lot nicer about it than I have been. I have been cruel at times. But there are some people I had to be cruel with because that was the language they spoke. And I'm sure some people saw those videos I made for those people that didn't need to watch them. And that is why I say it is important to be careful what media you consume. If you go to watching any of my videos and it makes you feel funny, don't let me tell you what to do. But I say, don't watch. But if you go to watching my videos and it feels right, watch it. But if it feels funny, and you're going to choose to watch it, I say, don't stop in the middle. That's just like with my story called Love the Meek. It's a sweet sounding title, but it's a wicked little story. And if you stop in the middle of it, you might have nightmares. It's just like if you go to watch a horror movie, and maybe the ending is good, but you get up and you leave in the middle of it, and it's stuck in your head like that. If you go to watching my videos, and it feels like you want to watch it, but it gets weird in the middle, don't leave. Finish the video. And leave me a comment, because I will say something to you. And I know if you're going to say something sincerely to me, I know I will be good to you. It looks weird when somebody tries to be nasty and leave me an ugly comment. I know it looks weird. I don't know exactly what it looks like, because I'm seeing it from a different perspective. But I know it looks weird. But I say the things I say to people to help them. And some people are in dark places, and I have to speak to them in their own language. Some of these people, they ain't made for the kind of dark that they're leaning towards. Some of them, I have to show them where they're going. And at the moment, that's the way it is. And on that note, I put together a couple of bedtime stories that are actually pretty nice. There is a little something in one of them that I probably would have rather I hadn't read out loud, but just one little tiny piece. But I think it's good that it's in there. And we don't need to get hung up on what it is. Oh, Lord. Let's not get into it. But anyway, the one with Uncle Blavinius and St. Paveclaf, it's really lovely. But it's a little bit more intense than the one about Ilariel and Velisandra. That one is really, really wonderful and sweet. The one with Uncle Blavinius and St. Paveclaf it's a little bit more intense. But then again, I am Uncle Blavinius and St. Paveclaf. And I don't always travel to sweet places. But it's a good ending to that story, though. Good night. Sleep tight.